Hello Internet, my name is Lave and I caught another film at BFI's London Film Festival. I watched Jojo Rabbit, which is a film I think I was looking forward to the most because I'm a big fan of the director Taika Waititi. I've really enjoyed his other movies like What We Do in the Shadows, Hunt for the Wilder People, and the film he's probably most well known for, Thor Ragnarok. His latest is set in Germany near the end of World War II and follows a young, lonely boy training to be a Nazi nicknamed Jojo, who has an imaginary friend in the shape of Adolf Hitler. But when he discovers his mother is secretly hiding a Jewish girl in their attic, his perceptions and beliefs in the Nazi regime are put to the test. So this one is based on what I understand to be a dramatic book called Caging Skies, which Waititi has used as a baseline and then adapted into his own screenplay, injecting his own satirical spin and sense of humour into it. And like all good satires do, it is funny because it is ridiculing and denouncing anti-Semitism, violence and war. So if you're worried about this one because of all of the controversy surrounding it, don't be. I mean, Taika Waititi himself is of Samoan and Jewish descent and he's cast himself as Adolf Hitler. That is funny. The film establishes early on that Jojo is blindly devoted to the Hitler Youth and his imaginary friend, but really at his core he's not a violent kid, which is how he gets his nickname Jojo Rabbit when he refuses to perform an act of violence. He's a product of his environment, with everything and everyone around him telling him that Hitler is a hero, so in his child's imagination that's how he perceives it. Waititi's approach to it is akin to kids today who worship their Marvel heroes. In their eyes they can't do any wrong and they've got posters of them up on their wall. And even though his adoration of Hitler is misguided, his character in this is just like every other juvenile character in a film that's been misled. It's the sense of belonging to something that he's really after and not the Nazi core values. And when he starts to see through the propaganda and the stereotypes, it's really gratifying. Taika Waititi plays the imaginary Führer himself and he's really funny, as you'd expect. Whenever the film is in need of a joke, you can guarantee that he will pop up with something ludicrous to say or a bit of wayward advice and guidance that gets Jojo in more trouble. But he's not the only one who is funny. Rebel Wilson does what Rebel Wilson does. Stephen Merchant is great in a couple of scenes that he's in. All of the big names in the ensemble cast deliver on their parts, especially Sam Rockwell, who is terrific once again as Captain K, the leader of the training camp who then gets demoted. There is much more to this character than first meets the eye, and I particularly enjoyed his character arc. And it's so nice to see Scarlett Johansson not play a superhero or super spy. I haven't seen her in Marriage Story, but in this one she is so warm and maternal. She is just such a lovely character in this. At times it does come across that some of the kid actors haven't performed before, but the stuff that Waititi gets them to say and do is really funny. But the most important thing is that I was on board with the two leads. The relationship that develops between Jojo and Elsa really works. The pair have good chemistry which develops as they learn more about each other. I did really like the kid that plays Jojo. I thought he gives a really sweet performance, but I was more impressed with Thomasine McKenzie who plays Elsa. She's got Jojo sussed right from the off. She messes about with him and plays up to the stereotype, and the pair do have really good banter. This is the second film that I've seen Thomasine McKenzie in, following on from Leave No Trace last year, where I was a bit critical of her accent in that because in real life she does have a really thick Kiwi accent, but it's not a problem in this. In fact, all of the actors in this speak with that faux German accent, like "We are Germans" and "Heil Hitler," and I thought, I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the comedy and not take it too seriously. But then the film gets serious really quickly with some really quick gear changes which really got to me. There were a couple of occasions where I gave out audible gasps like, oh no. This is a film that will make you laugh and cry in equal measure, and full praise has to go to Taika Waititi for managing to balance the laughs with the feels, which, to be honest, he did manage to achieve in Hunt for the Wilder People, but I think the emotions and the subject matter in this are just bigger scale. I don't think he was as successful in Thor Ragnarok. I thought the laughs heavily outweighed the emotions in that film, but you can definitely see the experience that he got with working on Thor Ragnarok on a bigger budget film with more visual effects and practical effects, he's transplanted into this film. Like when the Allies invade Germany, you get a real sense of the horrors of war and some big scale sets, but it's not at the expense of some of his creativity. I thought the film had some really snappy edits which added to the jokes, and of course it's got a really good soundtrack with some David Bowie inspired music. So that's my thoughts on Jojo Rabbit, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. If you're a fan of Taika Waititi's brand of humour and his other movies, then this is a no-brainer. You're going to like this. I think it might be the best film that he's done so far, managing to balance the feels with the laughs. If you're not a fan, I don't know if this is going to convince you otherwise. I mean, it's not a million miles away from like Sacha Baron Cohen's style of humour with all of the jokes about Jews and all of that. It's just a bit more accessible. But let me know what you thought if you've seen it down in the comments, and as always, thanks very much for checking out this review. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give it a like and don't forget to share the Lave. Alright, my name's Hitler, I'm made of rocks, and this is Mick. Oh, Mick's dead. Subscribe.